If you struggle with styling your body shape and finding clothes that work for you, where you feel great and you can embrace your current body, then you might just want to watch this video where I'm sharing my styling tips of do's and don'ts for the pear-shaped or triangle body. Now, I'm a pear-shaped, so I have a lot of experience with this body shape, but also I've been styling women for over 16 years, all shapes, all sizes, all body types of women. And I also style for TV, movies, and commercials. So I have had to dress a lot of different body types and help women look and feel their best. And if you haven't watched my video on the 5 body shapes to determine which one you are, I suggest going back and watching that video first. I will link it up above and down in the description box as well. And then you can come back and watch this video if you decide you're a pear shape, or watch one of the upcoming videos for a different body shape. And above all else, if you love something, even if I say in this video that you're pear-shaped and it's not going to look the most flattering on you, if you love that item or you love that style of item and you feel great in it, that's what is the most important. This is a video made for women to feel their best. And if you're struggling with your pear-shaped body and how to dress that pear-shaped body, then these tips may be helpful for you. So real quickly, to define the pear-shaped body, it's someone that is more narrow in the shoulders. They tend to have a smaller bust, but they may have a fuller bust. The waist tends to be more narrow or drawn in, but the big defining characteristic is that their bottom or hip area is the widest part of their body. So that's what makes that triangle shape or that pear shape. And like I said in my last video, a pear shape can be a size 0, it can be a size 10, it can be a size 20. It's not about the size or how tall you are, how short you are, but the defining characteristic is the proportion of your shoulders to your waist to your hips. And one of the famous pear-shaped women is Katie Holmes. So in this first look from Katie Holmes, you'll see she has this oversized sweater and she's wearing it with this really flowy long skirt. And when you're a pear-shaped, you want to avoid a lot of fabric in the hip area. Extra fabric like pleats or ruffles or pockets that come out. Anything like that will make that hip area look wider. And if you're a pear shape and you want to appear more proportional, you'll want to have something more fitted on the bottom. So you'll see here, in contrast to the last photo of Katie Holmes, you'll see here how she's wearing something that's, this denim skirt. It's fitted on the bottom. She's defining her waist, and then she's wearing a top that again is fitted, but it has a little bit of a cap sleeve. And again, when you want to look wider in the top to balance a wider pear-shaped bottom, you want to have some fabric on the shoulder area. You want it to be a little bit wider on top. That'll give the proportion, and that'll give the illusion that you're wider on the top to balance out the wider bottom of the pear shape. And again, here's another example. So for this example, she's done a great job on the top part of this dress. You'll see there's more, there's like a poof on the shoulder. There's more fabric on the top, which gives that appearance of a wider bust and wider shoulders. But it would be much more flattering if she wore something slimmer on the bottom, something more fitted on the bottom. Where this dress, instead, it has a lot of extra fabric on the skirt part. It makes her look, again, wider than she is. So you'll see, in contrast to this outfit where she has, again, she's wearing more of a fitted bottom, a more structured bottom. She looks more proportionate. And in this next look, she's just wearing a t-shirt with jeans. And because the t-shirt is untucked, it hits at her hip, and that draws the eye right where that t-shirt hits the hip. And because of that, again, it makes her look wider. Where your eye goes, where your attention is drawn, will make that area look wider than it is. So in this next look, she has same kind of idea here. She's wearing a tank top with jeans, but her top is tucked into her waistline. So it's defining her waistline, and things are just fitted on the hip area, so she looks slimmer and more narrow in the hips and more proportionate. And again, same idea here. She has her top tucked into her jeans as opposed to it being out and hitting at the hip. So because of that, your attention is drawn to her waistline, and it makes her waist look more narrow. And that's when I recommend a lot for pretty much any body shape to do that little half tuck, French tuck, or a full tuck depending on your outfit. it will help define your waist. So bringing her waist in by doing that tuck of the shirt here just really helps define her waist. And because her arms are not bare, she has sleeves on her arms, it also makes her look wider on top. There's more fabric on top to balance out the hip area. So she looks more proportionate here. Now in this next look, you'll see she's wearing a halter top, which halter tops are great if you're smaller on top, if you're less busty. Halter tops can work really great for you. But I wish the skirt of this dress came in more. I wish it was more fitted and there wasn't so much fabric, it wasn't as flowy, because again, it just proportionately, it accentuates the pear shape. And that might not be what she's going for. But if you see here, this dress choice that she's made, it's more of a fitted dress. It's fitted on the bottom. She has that little cap sleeve, so it gives you the illusion of a wider top. The waist is accentuated, but then the hip area is also fitted. So she looks much more proportionate. And the next celebrity who is a famous pear shape is Kristen Davis. Now in this look, you'll see she has accentuated the waist, which is great. It really helps define the waist. And while she has extra fabric on the sleeve, which helps widen this area, again, she has that very billowy, flowy skirt. And this really isn't her body shape. She looks wider in the hip area, and that might not be what she's going for. So you want to think about avoiding that extra fabric. And now compared to this look, where it's fitted on the bottom, but she still has the fabric on the top part going across the shoulders. It gives, again, that illusion of a wideness in the shoulders. She has her waist accentuated, but it's much more structured, the fabric. It's a structured fabric. It's fitted on her hip area, so it looks slimmer, so it looks more narrow. So again, this is a more accurate shape of her body than in the photo before. And in this next look where she's wearing a navy sweater with a pair of denim jeans, again, I wish she accentuated her waist here. Because the sweater hits, again, right at that hip, your eye is drawn there and it looks wider. If she just did a little half tuck, it would help her waist be drawn in and draw your eye to her waist area and accentuate her waist and probably give her more of the shape that she's going for. And in this look, while I think the top is great for someone who's a pear shape because it has, the billowy, the more puffy sleeves to make you look wider on the top area. Her skirt, again, is super flowy. There's a lot of extra fabric and pleats, so she also looks wider in the bottom area. Now, you can see her waist, so her waist is accentuated, her waist looks narrow, but again, I think it would have been more beneficial if she had a more fitted, structured skirt on the bottom that didn't have as much fabric. Now, Beyonce has really got her body shape and how to style it down, or her stylist does. But you'll see here, because she's a pear shape, she wants to have some kind of fabric or some kind of more bulk on her shoulders to make that area appear wider, while her waist is accentuated and while she has something more tailored or fitted in her hip area to make that area look slimmer. So this is a great trick that celebrity stylists use all the time. If they want their client, or their client wants to appear more of an hourglass shape or more proportional, but they're more of a pear shape, they will add extra fabric, or they will look for a design that has some kind of detail in the shoulder area to widen that area, but accentuating the waist and looking for something more tailored or fitted on the bottom. Another super stylish pear-shaped celebrity is Jennifer Lopez. And I love that she plays with her wardrobe. Sometimes what she wears will accentuate her pear shape, and sometimes she opts for more of an hourglass shape. So I just want to show you, depending on what you want for your body type, I just want to show you some examples here. So you'll see in this first look, she's wearing a baggy sweatshirt with baggy joggers. And this really doesn't do a whole lot for her, and that's fine. Sometimes we just want to feel casual and feel comfortable. But again, just for the purposes of styling do's and don'ts, that's what I want to showcase here. So she doesn't really have, everything's oversized, so she doesn't really have a defined waist here. Her joggers are oversized, there's extra fabric, so it makes her look wider on the bottom. Now, compare that to this next outfit where she's wearing something more slimmer. So you'll see here, her top is more slimmer, it's not oversized, her waist is defined by the waistband of the joggers, and there's not a lot of extra fabric on the joggers. They're pretty streamlined. So her hips don't look as wide here. And in this next look, again, you'll see she opted for a dress that had a very full bottom, And again, I'm sure this was intentional, but for our purposes here, for styling purposes and for helping you feel your best, if you're a pear shape and you want to minimize the width of your hips, you don't want that extra fabric around that area. You want to avoid extra fabric there. And you'll see in this next look, in contrast to the last one, she's wearing something that's more fitted and tailored. She does have fabric on the shoulders and down her arms. So again, it does look wider here. The waist is accentuated. And the bottom, again, it's a structured dress, and it's more tailored to her body, more tailored to her hips, which gives the appearance of her hips looking more narrow. And also, it's always great to show your legs. If you feel great about your legs, or whatever part of your body you feel great about, accentuate that part of your body. Especially if you're a petite pear shape like Jennifer Lopez, when you're wearing a dress, it's going to look more flattering if you show your legs. And in this next example, Jennifer Lopez, you'll see this outfit. It has pleats around the hip area. So again, that extra fabric makes that area appear wider than it is. And then she also has a bow tie here. So while she's accentuating the waist, it kind of loses that effect by having this big bow in the center. Because again, think of it as extra fabric. So anytime there's extra fabric, wherever that extra fabric is, whether it shows up as ruffles or pleats or a paper bag waist or whatever it may be, wherever that extra fabric is, it will make that area appear wider than it is. So for some people, that might be good. Like if you are a pear shape and you want to appear wider in your shoulders or bigger in the bust, then having ruffles or some extra fabric detail in that area may be helpful to give you more of a proportionate look to your hips. And again, you'll see compared to the last look, here she is wearing a look that is defining her waist, and she's wearing a structured fitted pencil skirt, which makes her bottom half look slimmer and more narrow than it is. If she wants to appear more like an hourglass shape or have her top and bottom half be more proportional, this is a better way to go. And then in this next look, I love this look on her. So while there's some things that I would say, if you're a pear shape, you want to skip that extra fabric or pleats on the bottom, the reason it works here is because the dress is a mini dress. It comes up really high. It's still a structured fabric. And so you see her legs, but it's structured so it's not actually adding more width to the hip area. And because there's so much beautiful detail in the shoulders and in the chest and bust area, that draws the eye upward. And the waist is accentuated. So it gives that beautiful proportionate body, and she looks amazing here. And again, just like I showed you earlier with Beyonce's red carpet looks, I think JLo's stylist does a great job on the red carpet. You'll see here, again, there's some kind of fabric or some kind of detail in the shoulder area to balance out the width of the hips, but the fabric around the hip, the dress is more fitted while the waist is accentuated, which if you're trying to look more proportionate and less bottom heavy, if you're a pear shape like me, this is a great trick. Having something wider on top, having extra fabric on top while accentuating the waist and having a fitted bottom is key. And the next pear shaped celebrity I'm going to share here today is Michelle Obama. Now, while in general I think she has amazing taste and style, I picked these outfits in particular to show you some styling do's and don'ts. So in this first look, she is wearing this one-shouldered pink top, and while again, she's a pear shape, so you want to draw attention upward, and she has this like really cool ruffle detail here, the puff sleeve, which will make her shoulders appear wider. If you look at where the top actually hits, it hits at her widest part. So you don't want, if you're a pear shape and you're looking to look more proportionate, you're looking to look more narrow or slim on your hips, you don't want your tops to hit right at that hip area. It will draw attention there, it will draw the eye there, and it will make you look wider. I wish this top was shorter. If this top hit more, just below the waistline, I think this outfit would be great on her. It would fit beautifully and the style would be impeccable. But because it's longer and I feel like it's too much fabric to have a tuck in, this top really needed to be shorter for this outfit to really work for her body shape. And same idea here in this look. So she has, her top is hitting at the hip or even just a little bit below the hip, and it draws your attention to that area. So again, you don't want your attention drawn to that area. Because she has the sleeve on the shoulder, that fabric gives her that width in that shoulder area. If she had tucked in her shirt, it would accentuate her waist and it would make her look more narrow on the bottom, which would give her more of that proportionate shape. Now in this next look, she has accentuated her waist, which is great for a pear shape. Like I said before, it's great for most body shapes when you accentuate your waist. And she did it beautifully with this wide belt. I do wish she didn't have so much extra fabric in the top. I don't know if it's like a top dress or something like that, but all that extra fabric that billows out from the hip area, again, it makes her look wider than she is. I wish it wasn't like that. Now, compare it to this next outfit where she has this beautiful detail in the top shoulder area. She has fabric here. It's drawing the attention up and makes this area appear wider. She has her waist accentuated and she has more of a slim fitting bottom, and you can also see her legs. She looks more proportionate for her body shape. So if you haven't figured out which body shape you are, make sure to watch this video here where I'm sharing the 5 most common body types. And if you're not a pear shape and you want to know some styling do's and don'ts for your body shape, then make sure to subscribe, because in the next few weeks I'll be sharing styling do's and don'ts for all the body shapes.